What's going on, people? What's going on? We're a little bit late, a minute late. This time, nobody else is on. Let me get this. Got my mic in the way. But how you guys doing today? How we doing in the chat? Let's see. We got Nate in here, Nick the Wick, Benny, Big Blue in the Bronx, Diablo, Joel. Yeah, Lewis. I do love the mock drafts. I could do mock drafts all year long. Let's see. We got 9 people in here. What's going on? Big Blue in the Bronx, Svi. Nothing much. So I mean, this is just pretty much just an open kind of question. I mean, I don't have any more guests on here with me. Maybe I'll bring some people from the chat on. When I do the actual mock drafts. But this is just an open discussion about what's going on right now. So I'm gonna let you guys determine what way. Yeah, I understand that, Nick DeWick. But I mean, to really have an understanding of all of the ways you want to go in the draft and all of the prospects, you kind of have to start that around at least January to get a good understanding of all the prospects. But I understand that logic. But as I said, I mean, we can start this off free agency. We can start talking just free agency, and then eventually we'll work our way into the draft. But what's been standing out to you guys? And I guess I can start it off with here. Leo needs to be tagged. He definitely, if you want him back, you got to tag him. You have to tag him right now because if he hits free agency, he's getting $23 million. He's getting $23 million, plain and simple. So you have to tag him if you want him back. Dalvin Tomlinson, at this point, he's probably going to be signed back to us if Leonard Williams doesn't come back. So if Leonard Williams isn't back, then, maybe Dalvin comes back. Maybe we look at that receiver. Maybe we look at other places. But I think Leo, it all starts with Leo. It all starts with Leo here. If we don't bring back Leo, we can go a lot of different directions. We could go, KB has been talking about the Hassan Reddick route. We could go that route. We could go a lot of different routes if we don't bring back Leo. But I think we're not bringing him back because once we franchise tag him, that guarantees the 16 or 17, 18 million for just this year. And I think it goes up to 19 million actually. So if we sign him to an extension, I guess it does count as an extension. If we sign him to that extension, we can control the cap hit for this year. But if we just sign him to a franchise tag, we have to control everybody else's cap hits to fit around that 19 million cap hit. But I saw something about Kevin King. I wouldn't go after Kevin King. He got absolutely embarrassed in that playoff game. Maybe as a number 2, he'd be solid. But I mean, I figure we can find other, corners to fill in that role at that number 2 spot. But yeah, I mean, I'm seeing some people saying that Leo's not worth it. Greeny Green says that we got to keep Leo, let Tomlinson go. Yeah, I mean, it's just if we let Tomlinson walk, we can do pretty much whatever. If we let both of these guys walk, we're pretty much open to do anything. And if you let Leo walk, it's just all about, can you replace that production? Can you bring somebody else in here that not necessarily has to get the sacks, but demands the same amount of respect on the line of scrimmage as Leo does? It's pretty much about that because attention gets placed on Leo every time he's out there. So we have to find somebody else to make up for that. And, maybe that means we have to take Kwity Paye in the first round. Maybe that means we have to go out and sign, a pass rusher to replace him that's cheaper. So there's a lot of different ways we can go. Yeah, that's what it seems like, Edward. I think they probably love Dalvin. I think they do because he's just the type of player that you would want. He's an Alabama guy. He's everything that you would want. But I just don't see how you bring back Leo and Tomlinson. I think if Leo leaves, there's a good chance that you're bringing back Tomlinson. But then again, once Tomlinson hits that open market, his price might skyrocket because he's an elite defensive tackle. He really is. My favorite wide receiver this offseason has been well documented. I was going to say Kevin Galladay. It's Kenny Galladay. I think he fits our team perfectly, and I think he will be in the perfect price range. But I don't think that he's going to hit free agency. I think he's going to get franchise tag, and we won't have a shot at him. And I don't think we can necessarily afford him with everything else that we want to do. Yeah, I mean, edge, it seems like in this defense that we run, edge is kind of an option. We can kind of get through things without taking that edge rusher. So maybe we can get through another year without a dominant edge rusher. I think we can do it as long as we find somebody to replace the production of a Dalvin Tomlinson. I mean, of a Leo. Yeah, I can definitely look into that. I can definitely look into that. In fact, I will do that since we got a lot of people coming into the chat today. I'm gonna drop this. This is gonna be my first time doing this, so bear with me. I'm gonna drop this link into the chat and get some people on here. If we have what's going on, Les Toast? This is OG sub. Appreciate it for showing love. You're a Steelers fan, so you definitely didn't have to come through, but appreciate you for coming in. But I'm going to drop this link in the chat, and we can start getting some people in here to talk some Giants football. If you guys want to stay on, do some draft stuff, that's cool. If not, whatever you guys want to do with that. So I guess we'll start getting some people in here. Oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about Eric Stokes. I've been high on Eric Stokes for a while now, and watching him run that 4.25, I mean, now I know he's going to shoot up some boards. Now I know he's probably going to go at the back end of the first round, because anytime somebody runs a 4.2 and they're and they were a top part of the draft type of player, they always get shot up the boards. They always go from I had Eric Stokes as an early second round guy. Now I think he'll probably go in the mid 20s just because somebody wants that speed. They always need that speed, and they overdraft guys every year. John Ross, when he ran that 40, his draft stock just shot up. I mean, it just happens every single year. The people overreact to the 40s. I like to look at the tape. I mean, because it's not like them running that 40 is going to make them play faster than they did in college. What's good, Max? Appreciate the love, grateful. Yeah, I just dropped a video on Terrace Marshall. I think I came out with that video yesterday. And I like Terrace Marshall. If he's there at 42, I'd love it. If we can trade back and see, if we end up trading back so far that we're picking in the mid 20s, I'd take him. But he's definitely a guy that I would be looking at really strongly if he's there at 42. That'd be amazing. But yeah, I do have that link in the chat for anybody that wants to jump in. So that counts for any content creators. Any okay, who's this? I'm gonna bring Justin in. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? I just have two questions.
Cool.
What are your thoughts on Devontae Smith and his size?
Okay, I'll start with that. Devontae Smith and his size. If you saw the video I just came out with today, I ranked the top 5 receivers and I compared him to Marvin Harrison. He compares a lot to that. They're both under 180, and Marvin Harrison, he had a really good career. I think he could possibly do that. Now, of course, everybody's body is different, so Marvin Harrison might be the exception, but I think he has a shot to do it, and I think he probably will be able to put on some weight when he gets to the league. But that's definitely a concern, and that's why I don't have him ranked over a Jalen Waddle, who, even though Jalen Waddle is about 5'10", he's about 10 pounds, maybe 15 pounds heavier.
And he's
so
quicker.
That's really the only concern. It is the weight. That's the biggest concern. But I still think that he's worth that top 10, 11 pick, even with the weight.
Yeah. All right. And then the next question is, who do you have rated higher, Caleb Farley or Patrick Surtain, or maybe is J.C. Horn in that mix for you?
I've had Caleb Farley higher only because he really has some crazy closing speed. This is a guy that could possibly run a high 4.2. I don't see him as a mid 4.2 guy, but especially the way we see these 40 times this year, he could be in the 4.2s. So I have him as my number one corner only because of that closing speed. I'll add Big Blue in the Bronx. He just popped in. What's going on?
What's going on?
But yeah, I mean, I have him ranked higher just because of that closing speed and the potential. I don't think he'll be a horrible corner when he gets to the league, and he'll only have the chance to get better. And he just has ways of reaching new heights that Surtain might not be able to reach. He kind of reminds me of a DRC.
Yeah, you know what I like about him? Tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe he played wide receiver in his career before. So his ball skills, they're ripe.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did. I'd have to double check that, but I think he did.
So he's going to be able to catch the ball. That's something about him.
Yeah. Let's see. Is there anything else you wanted to address? Here?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Have a good one. Have a good day.
All right. So how you doing?
I'm doing good. I do have a couple of questions because I know the other night we were on. Well, I wasn't on, but you were on Max's stream and we were talking about the Zeitler subject. What do you think of Ben Cleveland at a Georgia third round?
I've just been up and down about the guards, but if we're getting rid of Zeitler, I guess that would be a solid pick. If we have to take a guard, I think that will probably be the best way. Because Deontay Brown, if he happens to be there, he wouldn't necessarily be a good pass blocking guard for us. So it seems like it might have to be Ben Cleveland.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Lemieux, we're not sure about him yet, and he's, his thing is run blocking. It's not necessarily pass blocking. That's what we need for Daniel Jones to, succeed in his third year in the league. And one of my other questions was how far back do you take a corner? Do you take a corner say we don't get one in free agency? Do you take one in the second round, or I'm trying to word this question better than I am right now? But do you, the farthest back you take a corner, do you think the second round maybe?
So you're saying as far as starting corner?
Yeah.
I've liked Paulson Adebo for a while. It seems like he's kind of shooting up draft boards now, but if we can get him in the third round, I'd be fine with that. There's a couple of other corners. It seems like there's 6 corners coming out of Georgia. If one of those guys are there in the third round, I think that's worthy of a starting kind of shot. So I think we could go as deep as the 4th round to get a starting corner. Now that we'll be lucky to get someone in the 4th round, but definitely rounds 1 through 3, I think we can get a starter. Definitely.
Yeah, and I know everybody's high on Eric Stokes, but one of the other guys that I looked into at least, and I was talking with Nate on this on Twitter, is Tyson Campbell. I'm not necessarily a fan of because, there's a lot of corners, at least I looked at, with grabbing issues, and that's easy to, adjust at the NFL level, especially with Joe Judge's, tennis ball drill in training camp, if anyone remembers that drill. But my issue with Campbell is that obviously, he played with the best competition, but, some of the lack of awareness, some of the times that he could actually pick a ball off, he didn't turn around. So that's some of the stuff I did catch. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, maybe he would make a good corner too, but it would take a lot more than probably someone like Stokes or somebody else. So that's someone I would rather stay away from. But I'd rather get somebody who's just grabby and you could fix that at the next level rather than going through all that developing.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people say about J.C. Horn, is that he's too grabby, but I think the exact same thing. You can kind of coast that out. But this is an interesting thing. Greg Davis says, how do I feel about Jonathan Adams? He's a late round guy that he's not really getting much attention. And every time I do go on a tirade about a prospect that's a late round guy, he ends up going up 3 rounds. So I'm not going to talk too much about it. But I like Jonathan Adams. He's a big receiver. He can go up and get the ball. And he can get down the field. I mean, he's probably a 4 or 5 guy, but I like the way he plays. Actually, one of my subs sent me an Instagram DM about 3 months ago about him, and I've liked him ever since.
I know one of the other guys that I associate with, he actually I'm like the head of a website, and one of my writers is actually a content creator. His name is All Things Giants. His name is Keith, and one of his favorite guys in the draft. I forget the guy's first name. I think he's like a late round wide receiver, Darden or something like that.
Oh, Jalen Darden.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he'll go on like the third or fourth. I think if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he was at the Senior Bowl, and he was one of those wide receivers that went from like a fifth round pick to a second round because he had a good Senior Bowl. I'm pretty sure that was. Yeah, he's a 5'9", 174. I haven't done that much work on him, but from what I've heard, he seems like he's a solid guy. But I think we probably want more height than 5'9", especially if there's a possibility of us taking Jalen Waddle first round.
Definitely. And going back to like kind of the corner situation, I do want a tall corner. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, James Bradbury. I also want a physical corner, just as my preferences. And I don't want to. The problem is with, Darnay Holmes, he is, at least from what I see, people say he's like 6'1". To be honest, I really don't believe it. But if he's 6'1", he's 6'1". Problem is he's also kind of a weak tackler, like Isaac Yiadom was, like in the run game. You saw a little of that in the Ravens game. They were weak tacklers. So I just want to get somebody. If maybe Bradbury's not on the field for one play or whatever, they could take the load off the other corners and, tackle in the run game just in case we face. I don't know. I forget who we face next year in terms of mobile QBs. We're going to be facing the Chiefs.
It's going to be a lot either way.
Yeah.
But what's going on? We got Nick the Wick in here.
What's going on?
Yeah, man. So I know you weren't that interested in the draft, but I'll go ahead and answer what Big Blue in the Bronx was saying. To remind you, you said you wanted a corner that would be a good tackler.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why I like Paulson Adebo so much, is because he kind of has a similar kind of closing speed as a Caleb Farley does, except he does it in the run game. He's really good at getting in the backfield and shutting down runs. So I definitely agree with you as far as us needing that tackling guy in the secondary, because it was a problem when people went to that other side, because even if we had solid coverage, we weren't making tackles in some of those games. But Nick, you're calling in. What subject did you want to bring up?
I want to bring up free agency. So I'm a big believer in having like the system and like familiarness, as what Joe Judge has brought up a lot.
Yep.
Gettleman drafted Curtis Samuel. So I think we 100% have to bring him in. Once we bring him in, he's like a versatile piece. So we can line him up in the backfield. We can line him up anywhere on the field. But another player I would look at is William Jackson. I think he's a free agent, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, and maybe a veteran corner like that for cornerback too. We that's our weakness on the defense, besides of edge rusher in a few games. But I wanted to hear your thoughts on maybe bringing in Curtis Samuel and William Jackson.
Okay. Curtis Samuel, I'm kind of up and down on. I know he can be that, at least a number 2 receiver. He's really fast. He can run routes, but it just kind of concerns me that he was a third option last year. That's pretty much it. He's versatile. Of course, he could kind of be that second or third running back as far as how many touches he might get out of the backfield too. So he's definitely someone we could use. And the only thing that probably scares me the most is the Jason Garrett factor. Jason Garrett might not use him in all the ways that he can be used. And if he just lines him up as just an outside receiver and tells him to run, 3 or 4 routes the entire time, I don't think we'll be using him as well as he needs to be used. But him as a player, I like. And I think he's a big play waiting to happen. And then with William Jackson, that would just be a solid, low-cost kind of signing. But I've kind of been thinking we could find that corner in the draft because of how strapped we are for cap space. But if we can get William Jackson on like a $4 million deal, $5 million deal, it's definitely worth looking at.
Also, another question. So what do we do if Dalvin and Leo both do not sign?
I'll let Big Blue in the Bronx give his opinions.
That's a tough one. But something I do want to talk about with your recommendations about Samuel and William Jackson. Samuel, I wouldn't have a problem with, but also Jason Garrett's creativity. How much is he going to be creative in using him, which would ultimately factor into Daniel Jones' success and obviously a lot of other factors. I have heard a lot of people floating around the name of William Jackson. To be honest, I don't know if I'm totally on board with that. My favorite corners for corner 2 are Desmond King, Ronald Darby, Gary and Connolly, and what's the other one's name? Michael Davis from the Chargers. Davis and King are coming off their rookie contracts, so I'm not going to be totally concerned about them, asking for the biggest salary in the world. Jackson might. Obviously, I would have to do a lot more research into Jackson because, the Bengals defense hasn't been great for years, and I think he was the number 1 corner over there. So maybe if he had like one good year, he'll be asking, hey, I want this much money. But I would have to do a lot more research. I just think that there are a couple more options than him. And as far as the Dalvin Leo thing goes, I think obviously the Giants will probably have a lot more money in cap space. They might go after somebody like, I don't really think it's going to happen, but like Ndamukong Suh might be an option. I wouldn't want it, to be honest, because, he's kind of dirty, has a dirty history, and he's older. He's like 31 now or 34. But, he still kind of put up decent numbers. But definitely, even if the Giants let go of Dalvin or if they let go of Leo, you're going to see the Giants try to prioritize that earlier in the draft, or at least prioritize it in the draft rather than they would if they kept both of those guys. So you might see, I don't know, Giants prioritize it in the second round, and people might not even expect it. But at this time, with Dave Gettleman and the Hog Molly factor, he took Dexter Lawrence and BJ Hill and all those other guys. You know what? With Leo or Dalvin gone, he might prioritize that, and they might forget about BJ Hill and RJ McIntosh.
Exactly, yeah. And that's one thing we have to remember. We do have some depth there already. So I'm confident if BJ Hill is our second defensive tackle. And then we have Dexter Lawrence there too. So I'm confident. I think BJ Hill might be able to play that Leonard Williams role. Obviously not moving to the outside, like an outside linebacker occasionally, but he could probably be that other defensive end. I think the bigger issue is finding another nose tackle because that's the most important position along that line. And a 3-4 defense, because if you're getting killed in the middle, it's going to be hard to do anything. So one thing that Fireside Giants, Anthony from Fireside Giants has been banging on the drums for is Aleem McNeil. And I think that he'd be the perfect nose tackle to replace Dalvin Tomlinson. And I think Dalvin Tomlinson is he's the easiest to replace. And then with Leonard Williams, we could put a BJ Hill like there and hope that we get production out of it. But if not, I would at least be satisfied that the defensive tackle, the nose tackle, and Dexter Lawrence would at least be strengths there. We'd at least have 2 out of 3 strengths there. And we would have saved, not bringing them back, we're saving at least this year. It will probably be at least like 25 or 26 million on the cap. Even if you were to lower those cap numbers down for their first years, it would still be a lot on the cap. So could go either way.
Also have another question. So what do you guys think about re-signing Fackrell and Austin Johnson?
You said Austin Johnson?
Yeah, the defensive tackle.
Yeah, he's looked pretty good too. And that goes back to the depth. We have a lot of defensive tackles that look really good. The only thing with Austin Johnson is how would he look if he gets more snaps and he has to play a whole game. And then with Kyler Fackrell, I would love to bring Fackrell back because I think if he played the whole year, he probably would have 8 or 9 sacks. And he always seemed to be in the right place. You can drop him in coverage. He can rush. And I think he does have that 8 to 11 sack potential every year. What do you think?
If I may add on to that, yeah. I think definitely the Giants are going to be going, even with Carter and Zimenez coming back, I think they're definitely going to be looking for that insurance piece in terms of, are Carter and Zimenez going to be going back to that form? They're going to be looking for that insurance piece with Fackrell, and, he knows the system already, so they might, bring him back. And even if they don't bring him back, they'll probably try to get somebody else in the draft. They'll try to get somebody else in free agency. That's why a lot of people bring up, Kyle Van Noy how many times when, since there were rumors about him being released, even though they're going to try to trade him, which is basically, kind of stupid in a way because they said they've released him and then now they're pulling it back.
Yeah.
But something else I wanted to add, a part of the Dalvin Leo conversation. I'm not necessarily worried about the stopping the run part if Leo is gone. I'm worried about the pressure up the middle because there are times, how many times Leo was off the field or even when he was on the field, no pressure from the interior. And that's what I'm worried about because Leo, again, 11 and a half sacks. And we had how many sacks? I think it was like 19 last year, came from our defensive line. Take Leo's numbers away from that and you don't have much of anything. You have less sacks than you had in the last 2 years with Betcher. So that is what I'm worried about. Not just, stopping the run. I'm content with that. But when it comes to rushing the passer through the interior, that's what I'm really concerned about.
And yeah, I mean, maybe we're just so used to Leo doing it this way that, we don't understand that we could have a pass rush from the outside. Maybe if we did have that dominant outside rusher, it wouldn't matter as much. So, I mean, going back to what I was saying earlier, if BJ Hill all of a sudden is in that Leo role, and then you have, for example, an Aleem McNeil or whatever defensive tackle, but Aleem McNeil is actually kind of a pass rusher too at the nose tackle spot. But even if you just have a plugger there, and then you have Dexter Lawrence there, if we have decent outside rushers, we should be able to get pressure because even if they're not really good pass rushers inside, they have to be accounted for just because they're big bodies. So they should always get one-on-ones on the outside, especially, Lawrence is 340. Someone else is in the middle will probably be somewhere around that. If we get like a LSU Tyler Shelvin, that dude at one point was like 360. So that's just a lot to deal with in the inside, and it should help out the outside rushers.
I have another question. I missed a lot, sorry. Have you guys given up on Jimenez and Lorenzo Carter?
I call them Ziminy Crickets, and I haven't given up on him. I just want to see him finally do something. And Lorenzo Carter, I felt really good about before he got hurt. He was really good against the run. I've always liked him in coverage. And, the pass rush was starting to get a little bit better. So, even if he's a guy that only can get like 7 sacks in a year with everything else he was doing, I was happy with him.
I would say the same thing with that. And I would like to see Jimenez get a little more playing time. And obviously the linebacker room is filled to the brim. You got Cam Brown, you got Carter Coughlin. If they bring Fackrell back, it's going to be a lot. Maybe if they draft another guy on the outside linebacker spot, it's going to be a lot. But I do want to see Jimenez do more things. Obviously different system. But through his first, 4 or 5 games or how many games he played, the biggest amount of snaps he saw was in the 49ers game. In the 49ers game, we got crushed. So I'm kind of concerned as how much playing time and how much they favor him. But I definitely would like to see him produce in the future along with his other parts of the linebacking core. But Carter, I definitely did see some things before he got hurt.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely agree.
So I see Tom's World in the chat. He has thoughts on Villanueva the Giants.
That I don't even trust that rumor, to be honest, and I don't even see the Giants even going after a tackle in free agency unless it's a backup like Matt Filer from the Steelers or somewhere else like that. But I do not see he's going to be. I don't know how old he is. He's just a fun fact.
I think he's pretty old.
He's got to be at least 30.
Yeah,
and just a fun fact to add in there. He was a former defensive lineman, converted. Also, former Giant Brian Mihalik was another project under Mike Munchak, but I don't see the Giants going after somebody like him or Trent Williams. No, they're going to be, wanting how much of a salary. They're older. And, as I said, the only way I see them going after a tackle in free agency is to be a backup like Matt Filer or Joe Haig.
Yeah, I could see Filer. I was thinking of Darrell Williams, but he's probably going to get paid. And it's probably not something we can afford. So Filer has been my number one offensive lineman that I would like to see the Giants target, but Villanueva, I'm not really sold on. So we got I see Simon agree with me about the Dexter Lawrence point. Yeah, anytime you're 340 and you're moving the way that Lawrence is, it's kind of hard you have to pay attention. And then Lamar Adams has been banging on that Greg Rousseau. drawing for months. Like I said, if he's good, then you get to brag and tell me that I was wrong.
Hopefully he doesn't get drafted by the Giants, but then we'll have to do our own experiments. But as far as Tomlinson and Lawrence go, and maybe even Leonard Williams, saw this thing how many times? It's like top 5 defensive tackles double team the most. Dexter Lawrence was on there. So you can't just judge production based off of pressures and sacks.
And like I said, imagine if, we get Tyler Shelvin out of LSU, who's going to be like 360. That would be crazy to try to stop. Because when we took Dexter Lawrence, I thought he was going to be the nose. Because I've never really seen someone like that that's a consistent defensive end that's 340. That's ridiculous. But you got anything else, Nick?
No, that's it.
Okay. So like I said, I just wanted to kind of have this for just open talk. The next person I have in the thumbnail was Evan Ingram. What are you guys' thoughts on trading him? A lot of people have kind of accepted that we have to just go another year with him, but I've been thinking recently that it makes a lot of sense to trade him.
For the draft.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Because after the draft, even if the Giants, let's just say they assess something else in round 1 and maybe they don't pick Pitts, but if they pick a tight end in the later rounds, they're just going to lower his trade value and you won't be able to get anything for him. So at that point, I guess if the Giants were actually do that, they would, if they, let's just say, don't have a role for Evan Ingram anymore after the draft and, nobody's taking anything, they'll just be releasing him for $6 million on the cap. Yeah, it saves cap space, but what are you going to use that for? You're not going to use that for anything. Maybe towards a rookie contract, but still. I mean, you could have used that in free agency, but I could definitely see, fitting teams like the Jaguars and the Arizona Cardinals, definitely teams who need like playmaker tight ends.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that I've definitely been thinking is it has to be creative the way we trade him. So we have to leverage him with other picks maybe or even leverage him to get picks. We have to replace, some of the holes that we have in the team with whatever we get for Evan Ingram. We can't just trade Evan Ingram and then replace him with another tight end. That was kind of my idea a couple of weeks ago, to kind of package him with picks to take a Freiermuth. But then that takes away what we can do later on in the draft. But what do you think, Nick? What do you think about the whole Evan Ingram?
So I don't care how it is, but I want Evan Ingram off this team. There's too many nightmares. But realistically, I think he could be in a trade like mid-draft, similar to like a Trent Williams or like a Marquise Goodwin type trade, where you get like a 3rd or 4th rounder with him. Considering we only have 6 picks this year, I think.
I think we may have 7, but we don't have a 7th round pick. And I don't think we have I think we just don't have the 7.
Yeah, so
I think because of Isaac Yiadom.
Yeah, we traded ours for Isaac Yiadom, and I guess that's worth it. He was pretty solid for us at 2. If the Patriots gave us a 3rd round pick, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. But I mean, the rumor was that they wanted us to trade, I think, Evan Ingram in like a 2nd round pick or a 3rd round pick for their corner, Stephon Gilmore, and we turned it down earlier on this season. So
I had no idea. I know people have been floating around the Stephon Gilmore name for trades. I didn't know anything was actually said. So that's interesting.
Oh, this was way back at the trade deadline.
2nd round. I mean, Gilmore.
It was like we were packaging in the Evan Ingram, I think, with either like a 2nd or 3rd rounder. It was more of a rumor, but I'm thinking there was probably at least a little truth to it. At least Ingram and some picks for Gilmore, which I think might have helped us.
Well, at that point, we were like 1-7. So I mean, then I can understand why we didn't take it, but I mean, now, I'd be open for it.
Definitely. Fee says, yo, guys, Giants have to come out of that reserved way, trade down to 15 with New England, get New England's 47, draft Bateman at 15, have 42-47. Then now that will be a dream scenario for me if we were able to get all of those extra picks. I don't know if the Patriots will give up their 2nd round pick, though, to trade back to 15. I'm not sure, but if we could get that, that'd be great. Okay, so yeah, I was pretty right. We don't have a 5th and we don't have a 7. So that's what I was thinking.
Because of the Leonard Williams thing.
That's the Leonard Williams thing, and then the other one is the Yiadom thing.
I have another question. What do you guys think about maybe tagging and trading Dalvin, maybe for like a mid pick?
I don't think someone would trade for Dalvin, but I am kind of interested in doing the tag and trade for Leo.
Same here.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we're obviously not going to get a really high pick because obviously they know we'd be trying to get rid of him. But I think if they tag him, just tag him right now and just say, we're prepared to just eat this cap. So we're prepared to just bring him back and then just have him on the trade market. So if you trade him, then, teams know that you could possibly keep him on your team. So the trade value kind of stays up. I think we might be able to get as high as a late second for him. If teams really believe that he's that impact player. But it's going to be hard to tag and trade anybody. I don't think many people are going to bite on Dalvin. Only because of the position.
Yeah, I don't think it's, as much as, anyone would with Leo. I mean, Leo has 11.5 sacks. I mean, that just looks, attractive. But also, wouldn't we, besides let's just say we trade him to the Jaguars or something and they give us picks, wouldn't we also receive picks for next year as well because we tagged him and traded him?
So you're saying, wouldn't we receive picks for
Leo outside of the trade?
Outside of the trade? I don't think we do. I don't think we would get any picks for. I think we would just get the picks that we traded for. Are you talking about like the comp picks?
The comp picks or whatever it was, because I know there's like some compensation or something if you tag and trade.
I didn't know that. So I would have to look at that. But I was pretty sure that you would just get the picks that you traded for. It probably is like if you tag and trade and you don't get like what they would see as an equivalent trade for it, maybe you get a comp pick. But yeah, I'll have to look at that because I didn't know that you even got that for tag and trades.
AJ Marshall asked, would you guys be interested in a Romeo Okwara reunion?
I think he's a 4-3 defensive end, like all the way. But, he's productive. If you can just kind of rotate him in and out, he couldn't be anything on a big contract. But I'd look at it. I think he's pretty solid in Detroit.
Put up some big numbers.
Yeah, it's almost like we could have all predicted it that he would be a good player, but we just let him walk because he doesn't really fit the defense, at least the better defense. Definitely not that.
It all comes down to the price at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So be it.
Yeah, let me pull up his stats. He's coming off of a 10-sack season. Before that, he had a 1.5-sack season, and before that, 7.5. So, I think he's probably, from his resume, he's similar to a Kyler Fackrell, and I think they want guys who can be more versatile.
Definitely.
Because as we saw, like Marcus Golden last year he never really had problems with the pass rush. They just wanted someone who can cover. So they traded him, even though we probably could have used his pass rush throughout that season. He strip sacked DJ and pretty much made us lose that game. So
yeah, and he wasn't getting much playing time either, right?
Yeah, because they wanted to move him around. And that's one thing I don't agree with Pat Graham is like you wanted to use your players in a way that makes them the best. I just felt that he could have used Marcus Golden more because he was a better player than Carter Coughlin and all of those other guys. He just was. Lawson from Cincinnati. What do you think? What do you guys think about Lawson?
I haven't done much research, I'm not going to lie, but I don't know if he's going to be asking for, a big salary coming off of, I think he had some 6 sacks or something. I would have to, as I said, I have to do more research. But I'm not necessarily interested right off the bat. Don't think it's a bad option, but I'm not necessarily that interested.
Now, I didn't realize it feels like he's been in the league for longer, but he's only 25 years old. So
was he drafted in 2017?
His first year, maybe he tore his ACL his first year or something. Okay, they're just not showing me everything. Okay, so yeah, he drafted in 2017. His rookie year, he had 8.5 sacks. And since then, he's had a 1-sack season, a 5-sack season, and a 5.5-sack season. So it seems like he's just an average rusher, an average edge.
Yeah, I haven't done much research, but I mean, I want to stay away from the edge because I think we have young depth, and I say we wait another year to see if they pan out.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that. I think either, unless we can find like an amazing, talented rusher that we just have to take, or if we have a Jalen Phillips or something in the second round, or some guy who we think is an elite edge rusher in the draft, I think we might as well just keep the guys that we have and just try to attack that next year.
Yeah, in terms of Lawson, he had 5.5 sacks this year, which is obviously, just average, but his pressures, he was 44 pressures. So that's something that stands out also with 32 QB hits. So, I mean, that's, a little bit above average, but again, it's not
That
something
was that was Carl Lawson, what you were saying?
that was Carl Lawson this year. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I saw some of his tape. I think it was like Brian Baldinger breaking down his tape, and he looked really good, but he's just another one of those guys that we have a million of on the Giants. It seems like every year where we have guys just hitting the quarterback, but it doesn't translate to a consistent pass rush that can really win us games. I mean, even Leonard Williams, if you look at it, probably about 4 or 5 games, he was a constant terror. And then the rest of those games, he was either just solid or
Cardinals,
non-existent.
and then the Browns game.
Exactly, yeah.
The Browns game, he only, what was it? The only play that I really saw was the stuff in the backfield where he shedded the block from Austin Hooper.
Yeah, and that's the tight end. I'll get to the Daniel Jones thing, but first I want to address the Judon stuff. So I was in the Hub stream, and he called in Ingraven, the biggest Ravens YouTuber on here, and he kind of gave us the whole profile on Matt Judon. He says he's pretty much the Robin. He's not a Batman pass rusher. He's the second pass rusher, and he needs someone to take that extra attention off of him. If you want him to be your number one guy, you're going to be disappointed. So if the Giants go out and pay this guy over, $11-12 million, I think we're not going to get what we paid for. That's just what I think. And I don't think he's he does have the experience dropping into coverage, so he would fit the scheme, but he might just be a little bit too expensive for what he actually gives us.
He's asking for a lot of money too, so
exactly, which is ridiculous. I think he's asking for like 18 plus. So
yep.
If they do that, that'd really surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have like a super creative defensive coordinator, I mean, technically we saw what happened with, if you don't have a number one pass rusher, or if you have a number two trying to act like a number one. Marcus Golden 2019, he produced, 10.5 sacks. But we all knew that he was not the number one guy. And unfortunately, when Golden was either not on the field or doing whatever, the pass rush wasn't necessarily consistent on pressure. I mean, true, people will try to make the arguments, oh, it was only coverage sacks. Oh, it was, half of his sacks were unblocked. I mean, that still counts towards production, but he's not your number one guy that's going to, be like Shaq Barrett or Yannick Ngakoue and shed the blocks and immediately get in the backfield. And, his one dimension against the run, you didn't really see what he did. I mean, you didn't really see any sort of, I would say above average production against the run game. The only one of the notable tackles that he made in the running game was actually stopping the Bears on 4th down in 2019 before we got our last chance to try to go downfield. So,
yeah. And then Judon on the line with Leo, it just can't financially happen. It's pretty much you're either dumping Leo to take Judon or the other way around. I don't think that's financially possible unless we got Judon to take like a really low cap hit and then backload it to where we're paying him almost like $25-30 million down the road, which I don't think is that smart.
AJ says Mike Davis from Carolina would be a good backup to Saquon. What do y'all think?
If he's a free agent, I would look into that.
Yeah.
I think he's the perfect complement. I think I had Malcolm Brown as someone I like. So
I know people are floating around James White as an option.
I don't necessarily like that because we saw what we just had with Deion Lewis and how Jason Garrett refused to throw him the ball. he used him as just a regular running back who caught passes in spots. When we brought in Deion Lewis, I thought that we would use him as a consistent pass catcher, and we just didn't. So I kind of don't even want to explore the James White thing.
I mean, you saw him in the backfield a lot on third down, but necessarily he wasn't given the ball. So,
And the thing is, he was pass blocking better than Saquon. That's the crazy thing.
that's one thing we need. Whether we go in the draft or whether we go in free agency, you need a pass blocking running back. So,
and that's one thing. I mean, if we get a running back out of this draft, and we just try to go 2 running backs most games, that's going to be interesting because if Saquon doesn't get better as a pass blocker and this rookie isn't going to be a good pass blocker, that's actually something to consider.
I think still, even if you do both, you're still going to need a veteran, right away. You'll still need a number 2 because the rookie's not going to get up there, greatly quick. And then you have Saquon, who's not the greatest pass blocker, and he's coming off his injury. We don't know what's going to happen. So I think they still they probably retain either Dion Lewis, Alfred Morris, or go out and sign somebody in free agency. So I still think you need that veteran to at least go in there and do some pass blocking.
Yeah. So it's not in the chat anymore, but I'll just ask you guys, what are you thinking about DJ going forward as far as his career, as far as him being a franchise quarterback?
I don't think, and this is not me being negative, I don't think he's going to live up to 6th overall value. I think he definitely, if he has the right weapons around him and has an offensive line and a good system, I think he's going to succeed. But also, I just think at some point in his 3rd year, 4th year, whatever, I think we're going to have to start climbing around excuses. Oh, Evan Ingram dropped the ball. Oh, his wide receivers dropped the ball. I think we're going to have to start climbing around that because eventually some franchise quarterbacks, they get around that and still have, some good production. Obviously, the turnovers will have to go down, the fumbling, whatever. But I think we're just going to have to, at least in my expectation, we're going to have to climb around those excuses and see what he can do rather than just blaming it on the tight ends and the wide receivers and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think next year it's going to tell the whole story. I mean, we're going to set him up to succeed, and he has a chance to be our franchise quarterback. And if I just got to say, if he's not the quarterback of the future, we're just going straight down again, and we're gonna have to find another quarterback. That Gettleman will be gone, and it will not be good if he's not the quarterback. But it's been an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I mean, like you said, this next year is going to tell the whole story. DJ, I don't want to be the guy that makes like endless excuses for him, but it seems like he's just one of the more, like, even with Eli, we just have unlucky quarterbacks that end up here. Because even in college and Duke, he would throw like 60-yard bombs 3-4 times a game, and they would get dropped for touchdowns. He gets into the NFL, he gets pummeled. I mean, Nate Solder grades out as the worst tackle in the league, and a lot of those fumbles that he had were because they were clear blindside fumbles that most quarterbacks in the NFL would have fumbled on. And then a part of it is just he was not careful with the ball. So he's been bad at times and he's been okay at times. And I think the problem is the times that he just plays okay and he doesn't make any mistakes, those games have not been good enough to elevate the rest of the team around him. So this next year, no matter what happens around him, he has to elevate the rest of his team and just kind of make plays happen, which is kind of hard seeing what we've seen, especially with the Evan Ingram stuff. But he's got to show us something, and we have to be in the playoffs. Barring serious catastrophic injuries, this team's trajectory has to be going up. We need to be in that last week, we need to be competing for a playoff game, and not because the division is awful, because we're actually competing for, a legitimate playoff spot. So if he's not doing that, I think this team actually is being built very well around him. So I don't think we'll tear it down. I think we'll actually be looking for a veteran quarterback if he doesn't, if he shows that he's not the guy.
Yeah, also, I mean, I would definitely upgrade, and now Jordan Ronan obviously put out a memo of what he thinks is going to happen or whatever rumors. And one of those things was, Colt McCoy may come back. And I am very for upgrading at backup quarterback. Tyrod Taylor's out there, probably one of the better options. Andy Dalton. You could list, a couple of guys. And one of the things is, will they or whatever quarterback be a threat to DJ's job? And it's going to be very interesting. It's something, I forget who just brought it up, but it was something along the lines of, you can't be the division winner because your division sucks. He has to uplift the team and whatever and whatnot. And I agree with that. And also, I think only one game, at least I would count. You can't necessarily depend on the defense just making that one extra stop because of the Evan Ingram play against the Cowboys. That was defense right there. I would have considered it, an offensive win because we had 3 offensive touchdowns. We had a good offensive game. I mean, the second half wasn't necessarily the greatest, but obviously the Evan Ingram interception turned it into a 1-possession game where you had to depend on the defense. The Bengals game was another. I mean, DJ got hurt in that game. The Washington game with that one turnover interception by Kendall Fuller in the end zone. So those are just a couple of examples. And the only game I would really consider a DJ or an offensive win would probably be that second Eagles game, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I like about DJ is I like the way he played in that third and fourth quarter of the season. And then, I mean, it kind of gets hazy in that second half of the season because of the injury. But I like the way that he looked more confident. He looked more in control of the offense. And even in week 17, I felt like it left a good taste in my mouth. It felt like this guy is making strides to being the franchise quarterback. So, I mean, he needed to go out and win that game, and he did it. So I felt good after that last game. But another thing I wanted to bring up is we probably don't have the funds for it. We probably can't do it, but I would be really open to bringing in Marcus Mariota. And a lot of people say that we don't want to bring in a guy who's going to threaten him for his job, but I think we should. I mean, I think he should have to work for his job. Marcus Mariota is very similar to Daniel Jones. So in that sense, he's the perfect backup quarterback. And if he outperforms Daniel Jones, I think, he should get the job. And I think we also can have that guy on a long-term deal for the cheap. So, I mean, Marcus Mariota looked really good when he came in as a backup before. And I think you should take a shot on that. Now, the only thing that makes me hesitate is the fact that you're probably going to have to pay him like 15, 16 million a year, maybe even 20 a year because he probably wants a starting job.
Yeah, I definitely do agree with you on that the person, whoever we bring in, needs to threaten his job. And, obviously, the Giants don't have, unlimited cap space. This is not Madden. But in terms of backup QBs, you have to take the advantage. Last year, I don't know what the class was. I really forget, to be honest. But I would never, or at least in this class, not go a guy like Joe Flacco or any of the lower tier guys. I would go a guy, as I said, like Andy Dalton, Tyron Taylor. If he wasn't
even
coming
Ryan
off a series, and even if he wasn't coming off injury, I would probably maybe take a chance on Kyle Allen. So you have to, in his third year, when you have every single weapon around him or the best situation possible, you have to have Daniel Jones succeed. And if he doesn't succeed, you have to have somebody there to threaten his job and be constantly, right there.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he should be brought in and told that he's the backup with a chance to, like every other player to compete for a starting job, but he's brought in to be the backup. Like, don't bring in a guy who's obviously you're bringing in to be the starter because that can be demoralized. But bring in that guy, he's your backup, just the same way that any other player, if you play horribly, he'll be in the game. If you get injured, he'll be in the game. And I would rather have a competent backup in there that could step in than to coddle DJ. I mean, because that wastes an entire year. And I think next year our team is going to be really good. So I would rather have a guy in there that if he doesn't take the step that I expect DJ to take, then we have another guy that can come in and at least, manage the team and get us into the playoffs because it's ridiculous that a team with this kind of history and this kind of greatness has been so laughably awful for the past, 15 years? It seems like, I mean, even if you go, maybe not 15 years, but if you go back to 2013, I think that was when we first had that first losing season in forever. And then we've never really recovered from that. I mean, 2016 was an aberration because we had an easy schedule. There were a lot of bounce passes in the air that Landon Collins caught, and we somehow found our way into the playoffs. But other than that, we've been pretty bad. So we have to get better however we can.
And going back to the backup quarterback situation, we were talking about obviously, threatening DJ's job. And you said, you can't bring anyone in that's going to be like, oh, they're the starter right away and taking out DJ's job. You also can't have somebody like a Joe Flacco or Colt McCoy saying, oh, they're just going to be the backup. You can't bring in somebody, in my opinion, that's just not going to be a threat to DJ's job. You have to have that middle balance. If you're bringing Joe Flacco in, nobody's going to say, oh, he's a threat to DJ's job.
Yeah.
He's not a threat to DJ's job. He wasn't a threat to Sam Darnold's job. The only reason he was a threat to Darnold's job was because of his injury history. So,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe the perfect situation is considering cost, Ryan Fitzpatrick might be too expensive, but probably Tyrod Taylor, which is what everybody else has said. I think he's the perfect situation. He fits it, talent-wise as far as what they can both do. He can mentor him, and he's not necessarily a guy that if he comes in, you're saying, this guy's going to take my job.
I'd love to bring in Tyrod Taylor. By having a quarterback that can actually legitimately start is only going to make DJ push himself and get better.
Exactly.
And he's been a bridge QB, twice in the last couple of years, Herbert and Baker Mayfield.
I see we got the DJ hate in the chat. But however you feel about DJ, listen, he does have burners. He was running 21 miles an hour. There's not that many human beings that are doing that. So however you feel, I mean, you run 21 miles an hour in pads. But we got Benny in here. What's going on, man?
Yeah, man. I'm just, I just got on here. I was just doing something, but I'm like, oh my God, think you I'm like, all right, I'll get it on right away. But we were just talking about DJ and possible backups. What do you think about that entire situation? About first DJ this upcoming year, what kind of year you're expecting to have, and then also what kind of backup you want to bring in? I mean, I'm not going to predict what I think DJ will happen until we have the offseason, because I think that's huge for his how he's going to be playing, whether we get help for him or not. As for the backup quarterback, though, I don't want to overspend on anything just because of the fact that we don't have the money to at the end of the day. Would you rather be getting back a key part of our defense or somebody that possibly won't even be playing the entire year? So I'm not a big guy in getting the backup quarterback. If there's a good guy that we like, and he'll be pretty cheap and he's not getting many offers, I would love him. But I think it's important. I think it's actually could be pretty important. But yeah, I don't think it's the biggest deal.
I'm not laughing at you, man.
Yeah, I know.
But if you actually run a 4.4 in pads, man, I'm sorry, but I just don't believe you. But yeah, I think I don't really want to break the bank either. And the thing is, pretty much on every good backup quarterback is probably going to cost you around $10 million. So Tyrod might even be too much, but if we can get him on a good deal, I'm all right for bringing in Tyrod. Yeah.
If we are going to get a backup quarterback, I would like somebody that's had passed with running. Like Tyrod Taylor, who's a pretty decent runner, because I think he could. Daniel Jones clearly needs help learning how to run. He, dives. He doesn't know how to get out of bounds quickly and do that little stuff. I know he's not the smallest guy like Kyler Murray, but I feel like a nice runner from the past. I think they could help him a little bit with that type of stuff. And and as for a guy like Jacoby Brissett, he would just cost too much money. I don't think there's any way we get him. But
yeah, I mean, I think we might be able to fit a guy like Brissett under the cap, but I don't know. We might have to even get away with just bringing back Colt McCoy just because of the cap situation this year. But I'm probably going to start up I'm probably going to start up the mock draft soon. Nick, if you want to stay in and make picks, you can stay in. If not, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I'll stay.
You stay in? Okay. All right, so
Nate.
Okay, Nate's not ready yet.
Just give me a quick minute.
Cool. But yeah, I mean, I'll ask. Okay, yeah. The backup situation is kind of whatever we can get at this point, I think.
Yeah.
It's just a bad situation.
Yeah, I don't think it's something important enough that goes above certain things. I think there's too many things above it that we just need that pushes that thing down. And it's too bad because I think that's something that would be really nice for us to have. But that's something that comes next after the things we first need, which we should be focusing on. So I wouldn't focus on backup quarterback too much right now.
Yeah, I think as long as there's not Joe Webb playing, I think he's on our roster right now. As long as he's not playing, I'm pretty confident. If we can just have a guy to come in, because it seems like DJ is a guy who misses a couple of games a year. Yeah. So if he can just go 500 in 2 or 3 games, 2, 3, 4 games, I think we'll be solid. And the rest of the team is getting better around him.
Yeah,
Well, also to add on that, if we have a runner similar to DJ, we can still, even if DJ gets hurt, we can still stick with the same game plan rather than having to change up completely like we had to do with Colt McCoy.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, and that was kind of like Colt McCoy compared to a guy like Eli was definitely a runner. But compared to DJ, we could not run the same thing. So that's what I was saying. In a perfect world, if DJ took like a massive step up and we had a guy like Mariota behind him, that would be ridiculous. We wouldn't have to change anything.
Yeah, I would love that, but Mariota costs a lot, and I think there's teams that also like him, like as a starter.
As a starter, exactly.
I think there's gonna be a lot of teams because he had a game, in the season where he looks like a good quarterback, like a good starter. I think Derek Carr was out or something like that. I forget why, but I think teams are gonna be interested in him. I don't see us getting him as for backup. Like I don't see us getting him as a backup. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's just too much money, and the fact, like you said, a lot of people see him as someone that could at least come in and compete to be a starter. But I'm gonna get into the draft, and we can just start top to bottom. We'll just run through a first round, and depending on how the time looks, we can do a Giants 7-round mock draft.
All right.
And then I'll wrap it up after that probably. Well, what's going on, Nate? What do you think about the backup situation?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just getting myself ready to go. Personally, I've been saying this for a while. I just think unless you're a team that is in their competitive window, I don't really see any sense in putting any sort of resources into a backup quarterback. I just don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. I think when you're where we are, which is still developing, we're not really going to be taking a deep shot next year. I think we'll make the playoffs just because of how terrible our division is, but in terms of being competitive long-term in like a championship window, we're not really there yet. So considering we have other much, much bigger needs, and considering our cap situation isn't super great anyway, I don't really think sinking a whole lot of resources into a backup quarterback is a great move.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, you probably want that elite kind of backup quarterback to win those games if you think you're going for a Super Bowl.
Right.
If you think that money will be better served bringing in an actual starter that could contribute, it's probably a better idea to actually do that.
Yeah.
But we'll get this draft started off. I have the first overall most boring pick. We're going to go Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, what else is there?
I'll take Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson, number 2.
Fair.
Yeah, I like that.
I still think that Justin Fields will be the number 2 quarterback off the board.
It's possible.
We're going to go Sewell here.
You say you're taking who?
Sewell.
Perfect.
Sewell.
Has anybody come up with the scenario of the Dolphins taking Sewell at 3 and Bateman at 19?
Oh yeah, it's something a lot of us have talked about. I think that's a pick we actually. I don't remember whose channel it was on. It might have been Diggie's, might have been Cush's. We did another one of these live drafts where I think that exact thing happened.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, I was lagging for a second. I don't know what happened.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
No problem.
Yeah, okay. Alrighty. All right. Oh, is it my pick? Oh yeah. Okay. Sewell. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take Justin Fields here. I think it's a great chance to get your franchise guy. I'm not in love with Fields, but I think he'll be great in their system. Actually, what's his name? I can't have their coach's name, but he came from Tennessee, helped a guy like Ryan Tannehill a lot, and so I think he could help Justin Fields a lot with like the easy stuff.
Fair. Yo, sorry, I'm so late. Who is this guy in chat that everyone is making fun of?
Let me scroll back up.
People just keep making fun of someone that they're calling K.
Oh, he was a guy that said that DJ didn't have burners, and I said, how about you run 20 miles an hour in pads?
What?
And then he said you ran a 4.4 in pads. So
okay, sorry. Not important. What is important is that I want to keep my job as GM of the Bengals, so I'm going to take Rashawn Slater, because if I don't, I am going to be fired. So.
Yeah, and I think the closer we get to this, I think the Bengals are going to invest in a free agency tackle.
Yeah, I mean, they got to just invest something into that
because you
offensive
can't
line.
depend on Penei Sewell falling to you. Because I saw an article saying that they've fallen in love with Penei Sewell. Like,
right?
No,
yeah, I saw that.
Of course you have.
Yeah,
but,
hard not to.
He's probably not going to fall there, and you can't really depend on that.
And I will say, you also, just going to put this out there, you cannot depend on Penei Sewell year one either as a pass protector, which is what you're essentially drafting him to be.
Exactly.
And he opted out.
Just as a 1 year type of right off the bat immediate contributor, a guy like Penei Sewell is probably a lot lower on the board than a guy like Rashawn Slater or a guy like even Christian Darrisaw, who for my money is the best pass protector in this draft. So I'm still 100% taking Sewell over those guys, but if you want immediate dependability, I wouldn't go head first into Penei Sewell.
Definitely.
Makes sense.
But this next pick with the Eagles, like I said, I'm not physically able to do what some people think.
I don't blame you.
But I'm thinking that the Eagles here, realistically. No, listen. I have heard rumors. I have heard rumors that the Eagles do like Kyle Pitts.
I hope they take him. I
really have, but I don't think they would take him over every single receiver.
It's possible. You never know.
I'm gonna say that they think differently than me, and they're gonna take Devontae Smith.
Fair. I mean, everyone around the Eagles organization just says they need separation. They need a guy that's going to get wide open. So I guess it's entirely possible.
Waddle.
Yeah.
I could definitely see Waddle running through the Giants' defense in the clutch.
Yeah, and
I think see that.
If it's obviously really hard for us to know what articles are real, what's not, because they always say undisclosed source or whatever. But again, a lot of people are just hammering away, and they have been for a long time, on there's no way Jamar Chase falls to the Giants. There's absolutely way. It's very possible. It's just not likely. So if the Eagles, if they really do love the separation of a guy like Devontae Smith, they love the deep speed of Jalen Waddle, it's very possible. And I mean, we're picking for these teams. We're doing what we would do if we were them. So if all these teams just make the moves that we think are the best moves, now we're looking at a few teams left on the board who should not be taking Jamar Chase. The Lions are going to franchise tag Kenny Golladay. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense there. The Panthers don't need receiver at all. Neither do the Broncos, neither do the Cowboys. So at this point, you're looking on the board and you're saying it's very, very possible.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it pretty much depends on what the Jets and the Dolphins do more than the Eagles.
Agreed, yeah.
If the Jets take a receiver, that kind of blows everything open, and we could possibly not be looking at any one of the top three being there.
I just don't think it's going to happen at 2.
Exactly. I just don't see it either.
Dolphins, I think, are the biggest threat to me.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll take Chase at 7.
All right, I'm cool with that.
I think it's fair because even if they keep Golladay, they still could use another receiver. They're losing
Jones.
Yeah, so I think it makes sense to still take Chase, and that will create a great duo.
And again, if they do somehow pull a fast one on us and maybe tag and trade Kenny Golladay, oh man, Jamar Chase is the ideal Golladay replacement.
Yeah.
I'm going Trey Lance here.
Fair.
Trey Lance.
Fair.
Let's see. Okay, he is the next guy.
All right, Broncos.
That's 4 quarterbacks right there.
Mm-hmm.
That was quick. Can you go to all? I'm just trying to see what the best thing is. I think I'm gonna go defense here.
Yeah.
I'm between 2 guys. I like Farley and Surtain, but I'm been big on going Surtain above Farley because I think Surtain, although Farley has a better ceiling, I think Surtain he's a great corner, and I think that he doesn't have the injury problems, so I wouldn't take Farley above him just because you have another guy who I think is not that much worse that doesn't have the injury. So I'm going to go Surtain.
Fair. And now I God, I hate that I have to do this. Caleb Farley, off the board.
Oh yeah, wait a second. They did just sign Tyrell Williams too.
I forgot about
So
that.
they do have their 2 outside receivers if they bring Galladay back. But another thing is, I'm pretty sure Detroit has like 4 or 5 wide receiver free agents.
Yeah, they have a lot of receivers.
So even if they bring Galladay back, there's only 2 starting level kind of receivers even on the team.
If they bring Galladay back, isn't Amendola still there?
I'm not sure.
I don't know if he's there.
I don't know. I thought they had him.
I'm not sure, but if this guy's a Lions fan, Don Bird, let me know who.
Don, tell me if Amendola's still there.
Yeah, let me know. Let us know who all the free agents were.
I thought.
But before we get into the next pick, shout out to Justin Huber for the $2 super chat. Have you guys looked into Jack Anderson?
I have. Good player. He's got some technique stuff to work out, as do most guards that are that low. He tends to get his feet stuck in the mud a little bit. Not a top flight prospect, but definitely a depth guy I'd look into. And I'm sorry, K Suave, what Giants fans do you know? Can you pull up that last thing he just said?
And
what?
I know lots of Giants fans that don't think much of Eli. After all, it was the defense that did not did
it. Not going to give the white boy all the credit when the defense was with me. Yeah, people in chat were calling him a clown for a reason. What Giants fans don't think much of Eli?
Well,
I've never met one.
To be fair, I have seen a couple of Giants fans that kind of shift everything away from him.
I don't know.
But
that is what it is.
All right, so at 10, I think who's up?
All right, that's me. I said, unfortunately, I'm going to give him Caleb Farley.
Yeah.
All right.
Makes sense.
Hurts to do.
Yeah, I think that's pretty realistic, dude. I think these corners they're places that they're going to go are either going to be the Falcons, Bengals, Cowboys, or Broncos. I don't think the Eagles are going to go corner, even though they should.
I mean, I am praying that we see Trey Lance at 6. I'm praying. God, let it happen, please. For the memes, if nothing else.
Exactly. Just like the Jalen Hurts thing. So I actually have the Giants pick. Okay. So we have there's pretty much no other way to go. I got to go Waddle.
Yeah, I like it.
I keep waiting for all of them to be off the board so I can take Pitts and make everybody angry, but Waddle is always there.
No, don't take Pitts.
I've been saying it for a long, long time. There will be one of the 3 at least.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I would make a bet on that.
You know, there might be one of the 3 because someone might literally be gung-ho and just take Rashad Bateman before one of these top 3.
I do not think 3 receivers will go off the board before we pick. That's what I'd say.
I would think it would be most realistic to. I think Kyle Pitts will go top 10. I really do.
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking that.
I don't think he should, but I think he will.
I'm thinking either Pitts or Bateman are going to go in the top 10.
Bateman.
We'll see.
Just because of the hype, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I hope Pitts isn't even there for us.
Yeah.
Don't let him make the mistake.
We're gonna fall in love with Pitts. I have a feeling.
I think everyone is in love with Pitts.
But I don't
It'd be
want
perfect,
him.
yeah. For the Eagles to take Pitts and then
I would love the Eagles to take him though.
And then the Lions they like a Waddle better, and then that'd be perfect.
It'd be nice.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna spice this draft up with this pick because I'm not thinking QB. No, I'm gonna take J.C. Horn at 12.
Oh yeah, that's actually a pretty popular
I've done
pick
it before.
Yeah.
I've done that
That's
before in one of my mock drafts.
Yeah, I think if Trey Lance isn't there, they're probably going to go towards corner.
They could go tackle though if they don't sign.
Yeah, that's possible too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Darrisaw here.
Yeah, good.
Darrisaw to the chart. Yeah.
Darrisaw's a perfect fit for them. I feel
One
like
of
that's
the
one of the
easiest
guys
picks
that's
so
like,
far.
I just see in that uniform.
One of the easiest picks to make so far. I have been saying this for so long.
Yeah. Oh, okay. This is my pick. I think Vikings are one of the hardest teams to pick for.
I agree.
I actually think I don't know. They're an interesting team. I like Kwity Paye to them. I'll take Kwity Paye. I think he'll create a really scary defense with them. I don't think they need that much help on their offense. So, Kwity Paye is gonna be. Yeah, their defense is getting lit up and stuff. I think the corners will, grow. Some of them are going into their second year and stuff. I think the offense is actually pretty explosive already with Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen and stuff there. I like
the
Kwity Paye.
receivers. Yeah, I think for me, if I'm looking at the Vikings, I kind of like Micah Parsons there. I kind of want to see what Zimmer can do with him, honestly.
Yeah, I would go with. I was actually thinking about doing that. I would go with Pay or Parsons probably, but I like Pay a
If
little
Parsons falls to 14, I mean, I'm taking him 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
It would be an interesting situation to watch. Okay, so for the Patriots, I'm trying to figure out a way not to do this.
I mean, there's only one way to go.
Stop. Don't.
Well, there's
say
two
that
ways
to
to
me.
go. There's two ways to go.
There could
I
be
would-
potentially
there's
three.
But
there's
you don't
three ways.
like either of the two players that I like here.
I think there's
mean,
3 ways to go here.
I like one of the players you're talking about, just not super high on him. Fine, I'll take Pitts. It is what it
Oh
is.
wow, I thought you could have went with Parsons also.
You know who the other guy I was talking about?
Parsons was the other one that I was
I think-
considering.
The other
Yeah.
person I was considering is Mac Jones.
Same. That's what I was
Oh,
thinking.
That's what I was saying. You don't
No.
like Mac Jones.
don't say that to me. Don't say that to me.
All right. So let's see.
Oh, I think I'm up next. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the Cardinals, they don't have J.C. Horn there. They don't
Oh,
have
yeah.
Pitts there.
I think Melifone was this pick, probably.
Let's see if they reach and take Eric Stokes. He is ranked too low, but I don't think they'll go.
4-1, 440.
Ooh,
I
I
don't
might.
think they're gonna reach for a corner. Let's look at what else they need.
I think I know who I would go with here.
You got
I'm-
tackle, center.
I'm between
edge.
2 players.
Oh yeah, edge. Oh, okay.
No,
Yeah.
no, they have one.
I'm
Benny
giving him
has his pick in
Ojulari.
his head.
I'm
Yeah,
giving him
Ojulari
Ojulari.
feels like the pick there. I agree.
But they
Especially
have
if they
TJ
lose
Watt.
Reddick in the
Oh, well, I
offseason.
guess Watt will play.
I
Yeah.
love
Oh yeah, you do
Ojulari.
have Watt, but I mean you can't go bad with 3.
Yeah, it's fine. I like Ojulari actually a lot there. I've had him go there a few times. But
I completely forgot about the
with
Watt.
Watt, I would have probably went either Harris or Parsons. Harris is a little early for him, but I feel like it would be cool to see him there.
I'm gonna
I
be
don't
really
think they're
honest.
Gonna take Parsons.
Parsons. I like to go
kinda-
Parsons there probably though.
I'm gonna be super honest here. I don't think Watt's gonna offer a whole lot. I think he was just massively overpaid.
I mean, he's
He's
probably
too
going to be
old.
injured.
He's injured.
He's
That's what I'm
injured
worried.
as
He's
hell.
injured.
He's still a really good run defender, but I don't understand how you can pay that much to a guy that got 5 sacks last year. I don't see it.
I agree. I could see
It's
where he's
just-
coming from, but I don't know. But then I think at the same time he was on a losing team and all. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think with a better supporting cast around him, let's be honest, he's getting older, so maybe he just needs some more help around him, and I think they actually could have the help, So.
In which he's had none around him besides Whitney Merciless.
They need to shore up that back end of the defense.
All right.
But yeah, you're
See, if Parsons would have been taken before, I would actually thought like Gruden and Mayock and take Rousseau, but I'm actually going to take Parsons.
Yeah, I would go. I think Parsons is a perfect fit there. It just seems like the team that would take Parsons.
Question:
Like character.
Do they blitz enough to take Micah Parsons? Honestly,
I wouldn't know.
Oh yeah.
I feel like Owusu's. I don't know. I feel like that's a better pick. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I'm taking Najee Harris here.
Great pick.
Najee Harris to the Dolphins.
Great
yeah.
pick.
Great pick. Yeah, great.
They can go receiver in the second round. That's an excellent pick there. Big fan of that.
Okay. Oh wait, is it my pick right here?
Oh
Yep,
God,
you're
this
right.
Oh yeah,
hurts.
I'm gonna have Washington go with Rashad Bateman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Stop it. Don't let that happen in real life. Stop it.
Bateman and
Yeah.
Tamorian, not
Well,
Tamorian Terry.
Terry
Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin.
Oh no.
Scary
Don't wish that into
I
existence.
think the only
Diggy.
thing that it might, that'll be scary.
Don't
And it'll be
speak
scary
that
if they're
into
able to get
existence.
Rondell Moore.
And
Oh,
also,
God,
what's
no.
his name? Whatever happened to Gandy Golden? That dude.
Gandy Golden
everybody,
was.
Everybody was flipping out about him last year, and then he did nothing this year. So that was funny.
Well, we're not even going to talk about him. He doesn't deserve the airtime.
Kelvin Harmon too.
All right, moving on. Who's on the board at 20? I forget.
Let me scroll down. I think that's the Bears.
Bears.
Ah, okay. Man.
I don't think you're.
This is a difficult pick, actually. I'm considering Vera Tucker here. Scroll down on the all, please.
Let's see.
Let me see who's on the board. Ooh, Osai is tempting. Terrace Marshall's also a possibility if they lose Allen Robinson.
Yep.
Zayden Collins definitely
I like
possible.
Terrace Marshall. Or you could go Cosme, I would like also.
The question is, do I think Allen Robinson is going to come back or not?
No, I doubt
don't
He
think he
wants
is.
to come back, but I think that was smoke. I don't think he's coming back.
I don't think he
doubt
is.
he's coming back.
I'm going to say Terrace Marshall here is the pick.
I like that. Perfect fit.
I like that pick.
Terrace Marshall.
Otherwise, I think it probably would have been Vera Tucker with that pick.
Yeah. Well, do you
Or
like him
maybe
at
Mac
guard or
Jones.
tackle? Do you like Vera Tucker at guard or tackle?
I like him at guard, but I can definitely see him playing really good football at tackle. He's very versatile.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel. So with the calls here, my first thought is Kadarius Toney, but let's see what else we have on the board before.
Elijah Moore or Rondale Moore would also be really good picks there.
Yeah, Rondale Moore offers this kind of similar thing.
If you want a TY replacement, that's Rondale Moore right there.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But I mean, the injuries are just.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, it might be a little early for him.
I'm gonna go Tony
Fair.
Yeah.
only because of the injuries.
I can see it.
This one's tough for me because Karamo is still on the board, A, and B.
Yeah.
Was Osai still on the board?
Yeah,
Their
Osai would
defense
be really
is-
good
I would
pick
go
here.
Osai.
Big problem.
Yeah, I like Osai.
I've
I've seen him drop into the second
I'll
round,
take
by the way,
Osai.
a lot. Osai, I've
Osai,
seen him
yeah.
fall, but I like Osai.
I honestly don't hate Osai falling to the second round. I don't think he's quite a slam dunk first pick, but if the fit is this good, I can definitely see it being.
And that's the thing. Like, I can see Osai going from like this spot to like the same part of the draft in the second round. Like, he could legitimately go from 20 something to 40 something or 50 something, and you just wouldn't think anything of it.
By the way, Don Burr's been watching some Brett Coleman recently.
Well, he said, yeah.
Is Vera Tucker still there?
I think
Oh,
so. Yeah.
yeah, he's still there.
Oh, yeah, we're going to go with him. And
Good
we're going
pick.
to get our
Good
two
pick.
tackles for the next 10 years, probably.
I mean,
Do they have him?
or they could just put him on the interior.
Yeah, they can put him anywhere. That's what I think is so good about him is if you draft him and you don't like him at one spot, you could just put him
move him,
somewhere
yeah.
else. Yeah.
And then the other thing about him is, like, even if you draft him and then don't like him somewhere, even if that's not the case, even if you have a need at one or the other, he can be both, which is great.
Yeah.
Super draftable.
Is this my pick right here?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. Oh, I actually like Vera Tucker there. Can you go all for a second?
Let's see.
I could see this being a couple of players, honestly.
I want to go offense for them. I could go. Okay, I'm gonna go Cosme. I'm gonna go.
Good
Sammy
pick.
Cosme.
Good pick.
I think they need to build up front. Their offensive line's falling apart, kind of.
Yeah, it is.
Which is
And
so
the people are
strange to
forgetting
think about the Steelers having
I know,
offensive line
weird.
problems.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel right. Yeah, I think that ETN also could have been a good pick there. Don Burr. That's funny. I actually haven't watched him yet, but Brett Coleman says he's a hell of a linebacker. He says he might be his LB1 in this class, which is
Whoa. I got
wow.
look. Yeah.
I have not watched him yet, but I will eventually. Okay. We gave them obviously Trevor Lawrence in the first pick, so what do I want to do here?
Hey, you got JOK on the board.
I know.
I don't think they need a linebacker. That's not their. I mean, they can.
No,
use
but
it.
Owusu wouldn't be a middle linebacker.
Oh yeah,
you
true.
wouldn't.
Yeah, that is fair.
They don't need outside linebacker either, though, which is.
Yeah.
Do I really want to?
Miles Jack outside?
Yeah.
Are you playing Miles Jack? Wow.
Yeah. What I have problems with Owusu is that I think someone's going to have to make a decision when they draft him, either to play him as a linebacker or as a safety, one or the other. And that makes it really tough for me to swallow him as a first-round pick, which is something a lot of people are going to disagree with, but I don't really care. That's just my opinion. Man. Jaguars. What are we going to do with you?
This is a tough pick.
This could also just be straight-up offensive line, and I could take
Exactly,
my
could
favorite
be.
tackle.
Who's that, Mayfield or Jenkins?
I just meant my favorite one on the board, which
Okay.
I haven't decided yet. It could also be Melifonwu. I
think
wouldn't
it could
hate
be
that value
Moehrig
there. It could definitely be Barmore as well.
What about Moehrig?
Trayvon Moore is a good safety. I could see that, I guess.
That's why
it
I've
could be
seen
that
that a
too.
lot.
Because I see him going in the first round. We just never.
I think, you know what? I think I am gonna give him Tevin Jenkins. Simply because they picked Trevor Lawrence earlier.
Yeah.
I feel like the best move here is to make sure we're putting him in the optimal position for success.
All right, so I'm up here with the Browns.
Difficult decision.
This is where I usually give them an edge. I usually go Rousseau here. But I'm gonna go Owe this time.
Interesting. I'm not super high on him, but I can see it.
Yeah, the thing is they have Denzel Ward and they have Greedy Williams.
Yeah, they don't need corner at all.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, but this is gonna be basically his first year.
I could see also Barmore being this pick as well.
That's possible too, yeah.
To the Browns.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but
I could definitely see that too.
Ravens on the board.
All right. No, I'm not adding another running back.
They're in a tough spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a pick in mind, but let's go to team needs.
This could be Rousseau too.
Yeah, actually.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Or you know what?
Edge line.
There should probably also be an offensive tackle, actually, if they're going to trade Orlando Brown.
That is true.
Oh yeah, they do need a tackle.
They should probably be.
Let me go Jalen Mayfield.
Yeah, Jalen Mayfield feels like a pick.
Ranked 27.
I think if Marshall is gone, they have to go tackle.
I would also say that Eichenberg could definitely be the pick there because he's a natural right tackle and he'd kind of slide right in. So
yeah,
that could definitely be the pick.
Call me crazy. I'm going Mac Jones here.
You're not crazy.
You're
That's
not crazy.
decent value for him.
Yeah.
The thing that upsets me so much about the Saints is when Drew Brees was walking off the field after his last game and he looks at Jameis Winston and says, "It's your team now." Drew, what are you doing?
To make.
He might not even be on the team next year. What are you saying, Drew?
I don't think they can afford to pay him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Buddy,
they're going to pay him.
What are you saying to me right now, Drew Brees?
Okay, the Packers.
Green says him and Owe got the same amount of sacks. Yeah, you're right.
I think Jones puts him in the same exact place they left off last year.
I think this has to be one player.
Yeah. Okay,
there's only one guy I'd pick here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Bolton.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I like. I like Bolton to them.
Got
I
it
like
in one.
Bolton a lot.
I mean,
I was considering. What do you think about Melifonwu? Could he go there?
Yeah, he could definitely.
That's possible. Yeah.
But for me, just Nick Bolton is what they've needed for so long. They have needed that run stopper for so goddamn long, and now they're letting Kirksey walk. And now it's a real definite need because they don't have Kirksey, they don't have Blake Martinez anymore. My God, do they need that pick?
Yeah.
But the Bills are on the board. What do I think here?
I like one guy here.
Okay, so I'm gonna think out loud here as I always do because I'm absolutely insane. This could be Travis Etienne. They definitely need the running game. Mm-hmm. This could be Zaven Collins replace Matt Milano.
I think they're going to get Milano back, by the way.
JOK is still on the board.
I was going to say this could be JOK if they think he can be an outside linebacker and fill Milano's spot. Man,
You could even go Frymouth, honestly, here. But
yeah, that's a very popular pick
Bills
amongst
can
Giants
pretty much
receivers.
pick whatever they want.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things they could go with.
I'm going to say Zaven Collins.
Mm-hmm.
Off the board.
Sure.
Okay, so I got the Chiefs here at 31. I'm going to give them JOK here.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that pick. I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a necessarily, the greatest. They don't need a lot.
Yeah. They're loading back up, man. See, the key is I don't. There you go. That's the secret.
You know what? What's his face? Sue's a free agent. Let's take Barmore.
Fair.
But yeah, that's a really good value, too.
Barmore's an absolute beast.
And that's going to wrap it up. Let's look at the full results. Giants got Waddle.
Good. Like to see it.
Chase won at 7.
I think it's a great draft.
Yeah.
You guys have everything, I think.
I thought that was pretty good.
It's funny every time I scroll back through a draft and we all say like it looks like a solid draft, and every time somebody comments the next day, I saw them saying it was a solid draft, and this is the worst draft I've ever seen in my life.
Sounds about right.
But what's going on, Authentic?
Exactly authentic. Thank you. He gets it.
I mean, I haven't honestly seen that many. Every time I've been on YouTube, honestly, I haven't seen a bad mock draft. Like, I mean, not on YouTube, but on the Giants. On the Giants, I've seen pretty good mock drafts.
As far as the Giants streams, yeah. I mean, I've seen some pretty bad.
I've seen some bad.
I've seen bad other ones. Other mock drafts for like the NFL in general,
especially on CBS and stuff.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that.
I just
CBS is
a CBS
terrible.
mock draft like 3 days ago that said like the Giants took Kadarius Toney.
I saw that.
At 11.
My God, CBS.
I see
Get
a lot
your
of
stuff together, guys.
So I don't also like.
What'd you say, Nick?
People just.
There was also one that had Pitts at 2.
Oh yeah, I saw that. What was that? Who was that from?
That was from CBS.
That
Guys,
was from
CBS. Please.
Did I tell you guys about the one dude on it was on it was an NFL YouTuber who had the Giants cutting Lorenzo Carter and Jabril Peppers.
Wow.
I remember Peppers being one.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I could possibly see Peppers being traded if they were to make a surprise trade, only because of the numbers game.
Green in the comments.
Cutting them. I mean,
draft is pretty garbo. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you.
Yeah. But I'm going to get into a 7-round Giants mock.
Sure.
And then after that, we'll probably wrap it up.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Oh, didn't mean to do that. Let's see. All right. Okay, so this time we can start with Nate. We got, 5 of us in here? So I guess this time we can just talk through everybody. We can
Zach
all
Wilson to the Lions.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Can we just go over the top 10 real quick? I like doing this.
Yeah,
I just want to see what's happening.
But anyway, what we're going to do is just all decide on the pick at the same time.
Can we just look at the top 10 real quick?
Yeah.
I want to see it.
So Kyle Pitts at 8. I've seen that.
Penei Sewell at 4. Okay.
Are we doing trades, by the way?
Justin Fields 2.
We can do trades as long as they're realistic.
Yeah.
Swap 4 and 5. Doesn't seem
Zach
realistic.
Wilson at 7 gives me pause. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't think that they. No, I did listen to like the Giants Big Blue Kickoff live show, and they had on a Lions beat reporter that is kind of connected into the organization.
Sure.
And they said if they find their quarterback that they like the most, and he's there, that they're going to take him.
Interesting.
So that's something to keep in mind.
So what was the trade with the Broncos and Niners?
Let's see. They traded the 12th pick, 102.
Pretty crap trade.
No, for PFN, that's pretty average, actually.
Exactly.
All right, so.
Okay, so we got Waddle here on the board.
I think we all know what this has to be, right?
I let him go Waddle.
Is everybody in agreement with Waddle?
Yes,
I think we're pretty cool on this one.
Waddle.
All right.
Yes.
It's Waddle to the next draft pick.
JOK.
That was
Quiddy Pay.
Hurt my
That's
soul,
pretty.
Alex.
This is the most realistic.
That hurt my soul.
Whoa, Najee Harris.
Oh,
whoa,
wow.
what?
Okay, now it's
what? I was not paying attention, and that just happened.
Somehow Rashad Bateman went to the Titans to replace Corey Davis. He lasted all the way to 22.
The server never ceases to amaze me. The tradition of second-round quarterbacks lives.
This is when it gets out of control and they start making the trade.
No, don't be doing that.
Don't
be doing that.
We're not trading back that far.
No, we're not doing
okay, so we have Wyatt Davis.
Wyatt Davis feels like
wait. Before is Fryermuth on the board?
No, he's not.
He's gone.
Okay.
So we have Wyatt Davis. We
just for the hell of it, scroll down.
Leatherwood.
I don't want Leatherwood here.
Aleem McNeil's there. Rondell Moore is still there. Liam Eichenberg is still there.
I like Davis.
I'm not seeing anything I'd take over.
Yeah, I don't think anybody here is better than Wyatt Davis.
Yeah. Wyatt Davis is the pick here, no doubt. How did all these skill position guys get off the board?
Let's just look at what happened. Kadarius Toney, Jalen Phillips, Davion Nixon.
How many corners got taken? Jesus Christ.
Asante Samuel. Yeah, we're going to go Wyatt Davis here.
Yeah, I like that. I'm fine with that.
Greg Newsome, Tyson Campbell, all the corners going back. Richie Grant.
Okay, so
Kenneth
at
Gainwell
this point,
at 50 over, let's see. Kenneth Gainwell over Javonte Williams. Okay.
that's not a good decision. All right, who's still on this board?
So we have Amon-Ra St. Brown here, Dylan Moses. He's gone.
Amon-Ra's not going to fall.
I think
No
he
way.
will. I
Wow.
think he will.
Are we serious? Wow.
Yeah, he's falling.
That
Okay,
is
so we can trade
unreal.
back 2 spots if we want. That's the only
Sure.
offer we have.
Why not?
Everybody wants-
Does anybody see any? Does anyone see anybody on the board that they
We
absolutely
absolutely have
must
to
have
trade.
right now?
I don't think
Yeah.
so.
Okay, then just take
It's,
it.
it's a
Why not?
question whether Amon will fall, but I do the trade.
I mean, we already took Jalen Waddle. We
Yeah.
shouldn't really be
Yeah, we
taking
don't have
him.
to, yeah. So we can. Yeah, because
Josh Myers is an interesting pick, but like, we already took Wyatt Davis, so why?
so they took Amari Rogers there. I'm not.
This is
trading
an
with the Cardinals.
unfortunate draft right here. Show me the
Okay.
corners.
What about linebacker? Also, I want to see that.
Yeah, show
Oh,
both.
Chaz Surratt is on the board.
Oh,
Yeah, let's go
bruh.
Chester.
Slam dunk.
Chaz
I had a feeling
Surratt
because
is
they
there.
always let him. He always falls in these things. So.
Yeah.
And
This
this,
is
one,
ridiculous.
and these matchings.
These
Okay,
servers,
so-
man.
So right here,
You can make a stand-up routine out of
Eskridge
these.
to Washington.
Jesus, they are so high on the Senior Bowl. Dwayne Eskridge in the 3rd round, Felton in the 2nd round.
Alan Wallace here.
My God,
Ben
guys.
Cleveland goes off the board. Walker Little.
Davis Mills. Jesus, guys. The Senior Bowl is not everything. Okay, round 4.
Tommy Tremble.
All right, let's see what's there at corner and then edge on the board. at
Yeah,
this
we're not
point.
trading with Washington.
Hell no. We don't ever trade divisions.
So yeah, let's
Eagles
look at
and
corner.
Cowboys did
Taylor.
last
So
year,
Keith
but-
Taylor's
Keith,
here.
oh, Paulson Adebo is also there.
Debo's
Oh yeah.
here.
Show the
We can
edges.
go
real quick.
either one of those guys. Shaka Tony, that's pretty. It's not really much here.
Yeah, I would
yeah.
go one of the corners.
Yeah.
So what do you guys want?
Keith Taylor or Paulson Adebo? What do we think?
I like the Debo, but I don't really care. I don't mind either.
The question becomes, do we think we can cheese the hell out of this server and just wait till next round to get Paulson Adebo?
We probably could,
I bet
Probably
anything
could.
like
but
that.
who knows? It's not consistent.
Go back to the all board just purely out of curiosity.
Let's see.
Helen Mon just went to the Cowboys.
Nico Collins is on the board in the 4th round.
Kyle Trask.
Kyle Trask, instant smash.
Seth Williams is on the
Sermon.
board. Trey Sermon is on the board. Wow.
No, Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon is not a good enough prospect to go before here. I am perfectly fine with him still being around. I'm fine with either Taylor or Debo.
Same.
Okay, so I'll go with Debo.
Yeah, cool.
All right.
Greeny, you can say too early for guard, but did you see who was there on the board?
Yeah, Wyatt Davis is there. That's a
Greeny.
first round guard.
I mean, like, first off, Wyatt Davis is an absolute beast. Second off, what else were we supposed to do?
Yeah, the edges were gone.
The linebackers were gone. The
Briar Mead
corners
was
were gone. I don't know what you want us to do. Williams is possible. We could just straight up double dip on corner and take Taylor now. Monty
We could
Rice is
probably
definitely
take
possible.
Tamori and Terry here if we wanted to be realistic, but we can always take them in the 6th round.
My
Yeah,
God.
we could go to Maury and Terry.
So we could go with Seth Williams is here, like you said. Tamori and Terry's probably still on the board.
And I gotta be honest with you. I gotta say this real quick. So the PFN updates this regularly, like very regularly. The fact that we have made it all the way through this year, all the way to now, and Tamori and Terry is still at what, 192? That is disgusting to me. Somebody needs to get fired.
Let's see what's here. Wow. Just look at all the wide receivers they have. Frank Darby.
My God, guys. Hey, there's Jamin Davis. There's what's his face's guy? I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. I've seen you like twice. Don. There's Don's guy. There you go.
Yeah, it's a lot of scrolling to get down there. Josh Palmer's over him.
My God, guys.
Anthony Schwartz is over. Did he go off the board?
Did
He
he?
might have gotten picked. They might have updated.
There has been times when he wasn't even here at all.
Exactly.
No, do you remember this?
Yeah,
I remember
thing
that. I was
happened.
watching your
I
thing.
saw one of your streams where
Yeah, I remember watching that when that happened, and you were just like,
We were all just confused as to how the hell this had happened. Search it in the search bar.
yeah.
Well, he might have gone before.
Well, yeah, but just look up for the hell of it.
Oh,
There he is.
he's at
198.
Oh, he got pushed down.
Guys.
Oh yeah, I was thinking we might want to go Trayvon Grimes.
Trayvon Green.
But what is the disrespect, guys?
Oh, God.
So
What is the disrespect, PFN?
Seth Williams, Tamori, and Terry.
I like Terry. I'll give him right here. Although we could just wait a while. But
We
I
could
mean-
wait, but
Tamori and Terry's an absolute beast, but on the other hand, Trayvon Grimes. Come on. It's gotta be.
That is.
It's gotta be. The man, the myth, the legend.
Man.
Yeah, I think we'll take Tamori and Terry here just to make it semi-realistic.
Oh, that ship has long since sailed, Diggy.
Semi-realistic.
You don't click on PFN Mock Draft Simulator and expect anything in the realm of realism. That's just not what you do here.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see.
What about a defensive tackle here?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking next.
Dalvin doesn't resign.
Also, Zua just got taken though. Oh, we don't have a 5th-round pick. We're gonna be sitting here for a while.
Sage Surratt lasted this long?
Yep.
My God.
Okay,
Lenore lasted a long time.
Lorenzo Neal.
That's appropriate value for Darby. There goes Newman to the Packers, my God.
QB. Another
The
QB.
Packers.
Houston took Trask in the other round.
Oh, Packers. Never change. Cornell Powell should not last that long.
Trayvon
Jack
Grimes.
Anderson in the 6th.
That's a steal.
Trayvon Grimes.
That's a steal.
He's going to get drafted in real life, and we're all going to freak the hell
No,
out.
he is gonna get drafted. I've seen somebody. He'll get drafted, and it'll be hilarious. So here we have LeBron Ray. That's the only tackle I've looked at. Malcolm Kuntz, I haven't looked at him. I have seen Chris Rumph, and I like him.
Rumph is a good player. Have we taken an edge yet?
No, we haven't.
Then Chris Rumph should probably be this pick.
Let's see what else is here. No point in double dipping here. Yeah.
Show me the kickers.
All right. Yeah, I don't
Sarah
even have any
Fuller off
takes
the
on
board.
kickers. So you guys want to go Chris Rumph?
Yeah, I'll take Chris.
Yeah, that feels like the pick. He's a scheme fit too, so why not?
Yep. So I think maybe we have one more pick, or I think that was the last pick.
Yeah, I think that's it for us. We'll see.
So yeah, that was the last pick
Decent draft, I guess.
because we don't have a 7th-round pick. So we'll just wait for this to wrap up.
I swear that Mukwamu's in the 6th round.
That's ridiculous.
Dude.
But Brian Ray right there. Des Fitzpatrick goes to the Eagles every single time in the 6th round.
What is this, man?
Noah Gray.
Hey, Patty Fisher got drafted. Good for you, bro. Good for you.
Daniel Jones' tight end always gets drafted here too.
Does he?
Yeah, Noah Gray. I would love to just see the tape on all of these Duke wide receivers and just watch them drop all these passes.
Man.
There's actual a YouTube video that shows like 5 minutes straight of Duke drops.
Is there really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I think
Okay.
Chris O'Brien. I looked at this a couple of minutes ago and I still don't understand it. I don't know where you are on YouTube, but
Greeny.
somehow
I mean-
you found your way onto this channel. I don't know how.
You ain't wrong, Greeny. You ain't wrong. All right.
Okay.
Good draft. Good draft.
Yeah, so we got Waddle, Wyatt Davis, and Chaz Surratt, and then Paulson and Debo. I think that right there is enough.
You can't ask for more. You can't.
Yeah, right there you get everything.
Like, you look at this draft, and you say, what else could they possibly have gotten? So, I mean, it is what it is.
You know something crazy? Chad Surratt ran like a 4.7 or 4.8 or something.
That's pretty good.
So he might actually drop because people don't look at his tape. But
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that's not super terrible for a guy that plays his position.
Yeah,
4.7 isn't bad.
When I see him on tape,
right, he moves fast from that, which is my point here.
That's my point.
When I see I've always been a guy that thinks the combine is super overrated as a scouting tool. I've never really thought it was super important, but like when I see a guy like Chad Surratt who plays fast on tape, unless he runs just an abysmal time, I mean like a 4.8 or higher, like a 4.9-ish, then I don't really care because you can see all you need to see about movement skills watching tape. That's what I believe.
Let's see. I have the number here. Let's see. Yeah, okay. He ran a 4.7, so that's not crazy. But as I said, this was probably the last mock draft I'm going to go through.
Sure.
If any of you guys have anything you want to talk about Giants wise, just real quick, you can bring that up. But unless nothing else to say, probably will wrap this up.
I'm good, man.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for coming on the channel.
Sorry for being so late today.
Oh, no problem. Thanks everybody for coming on the channel. Thanks for keeping it live in the chat. At one point we had like 90-something people in here. So
I saw that.
Thanks for the continued support. Also for anybody that's still in here, once again, I'll plug the members part of my channel. I'm going to have a lot of film sessions just in my channel section, in my members section, for people to see before they go live on my actual channel. So if you can, check that out. If not, you will eventually see them on the main channel. So other than that, I'm going to get out of here.